I feel honored and humbled to convey this message to Norman Manea, who is a dear friend, but first of all, a literary and historical voice that I admire and respect. He is one of the most important contemporary Eastern European writers and the most well-known Romanian writer here in the United States. We all owe him greatly for making Romanian literature known across the Atlantic. Norman Manea is one of Romania's bravest heroes. His memories of exile and survival during the Holocaust and the dark years of communism are now forever engraved in the world literature. He remains an active and strong voice in our society and in the intellectual forum. He's a tireless cultural ambassador for Romanian-American relations. There are many stories left to tell about Norman Manea's life, and I can only hope that he will continue to bless the world with his talent for many, many years to come. Happy birthday, dear Norman. I feel privileged to be part of your life.
I want to wish Norman Manea a very happy birthday on his 86th birthday. It isn't quite the 120 that is usually the greeting in many communities in Eastern Europe, particularly Jewish communities, but 86 is a venerable age, and Norman is a remarkable man. Came to Bard, where I privileged to serve as president, before the fall of the wall, a victim of Ceausescu, an engineer turned writer, a person who survived both the ravages of the Second World War and the Holocaust and the worst parts of communism in Eastern Europe and Romania, and fell in love with the Romanian language and found his vocation as a great and penetrating writer, a student and observer of the ironies, twists, contradictions of human behavior, and still an optimist in his own way, despite witnessing among the worst moments of human conduct in his life, and never having lost his sense of humor, despite the darkness of the picture of humankind that jumps out of his short stories, his novels, and his also fantastic essays. A truly wise and kind man, deserving of a very glorious birthday.
For me, Norman Manea is first of all a gentleman who does not avoid intellectual battles, as his great friend Philip Roth put it once. And indeed, Norman Manea has fought important intellectual, cultural, and political issues of the 20th century and of the beginning of the 21st centuries in his books. For me, Norman is a great writer and a great friend. Norman has the gift of friendship that brought him many, many friends all over the world. For his anniversary, I wish him all the best in the world. Dear Norman, la mulți ani.
No todo. A mi amigo Norman Manea. No todas las estrellas son ángeles en llamas. No todos los ríos llegan al mar. No todas las lluvias son cristalinas. No toda hambre es la mejor salsa del mundo. No todo lo que tiene dientes busca a quien devorar. No todo vientre es la puerta del paraíso. No todos los sueños tienen un despertar. No todo lo que digo es cierto. Not all for Norman Manea. Not all the stars are angels in flames. Not all the rivers reach the sea. Not all rains are crystal clear. Not all hunger is the best sauce in the world. Not all things that have teeth hold down someone to eat. Not all wombs are the door to paradise. Not all dreams have an awakening. Not all that I say is for sure.
Dragă Norman Manea, aș vrea să-ți aduc un omagiu, să-ți spun la mulți ani, dar cu gândul la Bucovina. Cu gândul la Bucovina, locul în care te-ai născut, locul în care m-am născut și eu, loc pe care îl iubim amândoi, deși tu ai trăit momente dramatice acolo. Această Bucovină pe care eu am vizitat-o la sfârșitul lunii mai și am avut o întâlnire cu elevii liceului Ștefan cel Mare, elevii colegiului Ștefan cel Mare, unde există o bibliotecă care îți poartă numele, Biblioteca Norman Manea. Un simbol important. Am văzut că, într-un fel sau altul, memoria trecerii tale prin Bucovina, nașterii tale acolo, a sentimentelor pe care le-ai avut față de această regiune, este vie și oamenii te iubesc și te apreciază. Așa că îți spun la mulți ani cu gândul la această Bucovină care ne-a dat amândurora rădăcini, care ție ți-a dat și momente de mare dramatism, de mare tristețe, dar în care lucrurile se schimbă, memoria dramelor este vie, memoria dramelor istorice, ca și memoria locului, o memorie care îi apreciază pe cei care s-au născut acolo, care au scris, care au devenit celebri, care au emigrat, care au călătorit și care într-un fel sau altul i-au dat ceva înapoi din plin, cum este cazul tău, Norman.
Norman, Eliana here. I have always said that from the day we met, I felt I'd found a kindred spirit in the world, and it is one of my life's gifts and an honor to be amongst your various adopted nieces, children, errant spirits in the world whom you have so graciously collected. I remember when I first interviewed you now 10 years ago, I came to you with all of my existential questions and crises of identity, and I will never forget that you told me that what matters most in this life is the intensity with which we feel and live what we are feeling. So I thank you for that. You have made so much of my life make more sense. We are all so lucky to have you. And I hope that that spirit and that mischievousness and that joy and that brilliant humor of yours continue to keep us company in this crazy, crazy world. Sending you so much love.
Dragă Norman, mi-amintesc de prima noastră întâlnire la București, prin 1980 sau 1981. Ne-am înțeles la telefon să ne vedem undeva spre capătul de jos al căii Victoriei, spre o peretă. Recunoașterea reciprocă a fost simplă și cred că mi-ai propus să facem un ocol pe la un chioșc de ziare unde te-ai încărcat cu un braț de reviste literare înainte de a urca pentru un ceai, dacă nu mă înșel, în apartamentul tău unde ne aștepta acela. Fără îndoială că am descoperit în acea după-amiază multe alte fire ce ne legau. Bucovina bunicilor mei, Transnistria memoriei familiale, limba și cultura germană a evreilor bucovineni versus tradiția Yiddish, pe care unchiul meu, Israel Bercovici, o cultiva cu obstinație ca secretar literar la Teatrul Evreiesc de Stat, etc., plus dilema fundamentală, atunci și acum, la New York și la Iași, unde ne este locul. Toate aceste punți, la care s-au adăugat multe altele, și-au probat soliditatea în mai bine de 4 decenii. La aniversarea ta, pentru tine și pentru punțile noastre, la mulți ani!
Happy birthday, dearest Norman! On this glorious day, I would like to read for you the end of Francis Ponch's praise to snails. Here it is. Saints, ils font œuvre d'art de leur vie, œuvre d'art de leur perfectionnement. Leur sécrétion même se produit de telle manière qu'elles se mettent en forme. Rien d'extérieur à eux, à leurs nécessités, à leurs besoins, n'est leur œuvre. Rien de disproportionné, d'autre part, à leur être physique. Rien qui ne lui soit nécessaire, obligatoire. Ainsi les escargots tracent-ils aux hommes leur devoir. Les grandes pensées viennent du cœur. Perfectionne-toi moralement et tu feras de beaux vers. La morale et la rhétorique se rejoignent dans l'ambition et le désir du sage. Mais saints en quoi? En obéissant précisément à leur nature. Connais-toi donc d'abord toi-même et accepte-toi tel que tu es, en accord avec tes vices, en proportion avec ta mesure. Mais quelle est la notion propre de l'homme? La parole et la morale, l'humanisme. This to thank you and to wish you a very, very happy birthday, dearest friend.
Was die rumänische Kultur und Gesellschaft dadurch verloren hat, dass Norman Manea sich gezwungen sah, während der kommunistischen Diktatur ins Exil zu gehen, das mögen rumänische Historiker oder Literaturwissenschaftler beschreiben. Ich kann sagen, dass mir, wenn Norman Manea dereinst schweigen sollte, sein wunderbares Bukowiner Deutsch fehlen wird, durch das hindurch die großartige Bukowiner Literatur, ja Dichtung auch zu mir spricht. Und deshalb möchte ich ihm aus reinem Eigennutz noch ein langes und gesundes Leben wünschen.
Dear Norman Manea, thank you for being a friend of the Romanian Cultural Institute. Thank you for being a friend of the Romanian culture. Thank you for being the greatest ambassador of the Romanian literature here in the United States and in the world. Your destiny is an inspiration for the Romanian culture and for all of us. La mulți ani, Norman Manea, multă sănătate, happy birthday, Norman Manea.
What do I think of when I think of Norman? An extraordinary writer, witty, intelligent, open to the world and not afraid to confront our daily madness. What can I compare him to? Well, in absolute terms, he is incomparable. But in literary terms, the figure of Ulysses comes to mind. I think of Norman as Ulysses for a number of reasons. First, as the forced traveler, Homer's version of the wandering Jew, pushed and pulled from one place to the other by the whim of a god who is also a bully. Then, as the trickster, the man who is able to survive the brutality of the Cyclops through his wits, and the lure of the sirens thanks to his crafty intelligence. Norman, like Ulysses, calls himself nobody to survive, or hooligan, which is the same. And thanks to the craft of his pen, he can sail past the song of the sirens of cheap literature and cultural idiocy and reach Ithaca with an armful of beautiful books that will last for as long as human memory lasts. Happy birthday, Norman, and may you keep on writing forever.
Dragă Norman, în primul rând vreau să-ți spun la mulți ani pentru această zi care îmi pare tare rău că nu se trecă voi. Mi-aș fi dorit ca și eu să am viteza gândurilor mele și să pot să ajung într-o clipă acolo, să fiu cu cela, cu tine, într-un moment în care simt că ai nevoie de prieteni. Și să știi că prietenii sunt lângă tine, chiar dacă sunt de departe. Și eu, și George, și Georgia, și Laura te îmbrățișăm și te asigurăm că niciodată n-ai plecat din sufletele noastre. Te iubim mult, îți dorim toată sănătatea și sper să ne vedem cât mai curând.
Dear Norman, the first book of yours I read was Despre Clovni, on clowns, before I read anything else you'd written. I've been looking at that book again lately in view of what's been going on in the clownish life of leading politicians. In a strange way, because of your knowledge of history and tyranny, you could have predicted the rise of monsters like Trump and Johnson and Bolsonaro and Orban and all the rest of them. But you also write about the monsters, the condugator, with wonderful, savage humor. Dear friend, I send you wishes for your upcoming 86th birthday. I'm running a year behind you, I'm afraid, but I send you and Cella all my love and gratitude for your friendship.
Happy anniversary on your birthday, dear Norman. I wish you good health. I also give you a memory. We both graduated from the same high school, but in different years. Many years before us, between 1903 and 1911. At this high school, Ștefan cel Mare from Suceava also studied Traian Popovici, who would later become the legendary mayor of Czernowitz. He will become a great savior of the Jews of the Transnistrian Holocaust under Antonescu regime. Some research shows that all the three of us have been in the same bench, in the same class for different years. Well, we've looked at the world through the same window over a troubled century. Next, life has taken us on difficult paths, on exile, and of the struggle for freedom. Finally, we reunited in the great literature, in the treasures of the Romanian language, in the universal symbolism of the saved man. From this vantage point of wisdom, I embrace you with affection. As you once said, I just got out of adolescence. Let the youth begin. Happy birthday, Norman. Ad mea veserim, la mulți ani.
Hello, my dear Norman, from Strasbourg, Alsace, France, Europe. I wish you a fantastic birthday, happy birthday. I think of you, and I'm very happy to see you in a few months in New York in the fall. I hope you're fine, and all my best wishes from France, Europe. Bisous, ciao.
In this particular occasion, I would like to say that Norman's particularity consists in the fact that not only his books are valued, admired, appreciated worldwide, but so as himself as an author, but particularly as an individual in life, he is even more loved. In Norman's heavily codified writings, semi-fictional, semi-metaphysical, the human sufferance, struggle, pain, despair, as well as resilience, douceur, and l'amour are vividly portrayed through an artistic and original way. Norman's presence as a person and through his books reaffirmed the human value of our fragile existence, especially during the global crisis and a time of uncertainties such as right now. So Norman, you are more needed than ever. Please stay well and healthy. Happy birthday to you. I already look forward for the next similar occasion.
Norman, we are in Gura Homorului, your native Bukovina, in order to celebrate your 86th birthday. Norman, it's been years that I wrote a long article titled "The Man They Love to Hate." You remember it, of course. Things have changed then now. The Romanian Culture Institute celebrating your birthday, but I want to assure you that I could still write another article fitting a lot of people, though not this institute, titled "The Men They Hate to Love." La mulți ani, Norman.
Happy birthday, dear Norman Manea, dear Norman. I'm an old Bucharest friend, and I will offer you a gift, an anniversary gift, another art exhibition here in Bucharest, like the one I guided you and Cela, your wife, when you visited Bucharest years ago, and we entered together a wonderful privately owned post-communist art gallery. Now we are in a temporary one somewhere in the heart of Bucharest, in the middle of an art exhibition of two prominent artists, Ilie Rusu and Constantin Rusu, father and son. Happy birthday, dear Norman Manea. My old friends Cela and Norman. Very glad to offer you this anniversary gift, a little bit of an art exhibition of Ilie and Constantin Rusu here in Bucharest, in the neighborhood in which we once walked slowly, talking about literature and politics, about history and our lives. Happy birthday, Norman Manea.
Hi, Nikki. 41 years ago, I met you and Cela as Evelyn opened her bedroom door for the surprise she had promised me. It was friendship at first sight. I then listened to your life stories and profound explanations of Romanian history, of European history, of the world, that fell upon the young, naive person I was then as manna to be gobbled up. In amazement, I realized that your love for Romania, your love for the Romanian language, was so strong that you were willing to remain in a land that treated you so harshly. It was a love and a courage that I, who had the privilege to never need to hide, to lie, to speak in double entendre, had never known. I have followed all of your so-deserved successes and honors. My friend who won the Guggenheim and the MacArthur on the same day, who thought he would lose his voice in this new land, but rather spread his wisdom among countless students. I love you, Nikki. La mulți ani.
Dragă Norman, dear Norman, as you know so well, I feel blessed and privileged to have been granted your and Cela's friendship and affection. And I'm happy to say this in this very room at the Romanian Cultural Institute in New York, which we named after you last year in recognition of your extraordinary role in bridging the Romanian and American cultures, but also so that when we come to work or when we host an event here, we are enveloped in your spirit. Kind, witty, wise, good, warm, welcoming, and I can go on like this forever. I hope that by bearing your name, this very space can be infused with the values and ideals you have always stood for. A devotion to literature and art in general as a supreme means of self-expression, but also as powerful moral weapons, a sense of justice and the urge to always do good, a cult of friendship and the joy of being among your peers. And last but not least, the healing power of laughter. Thank you, Norman, for everything and happy birthday to you. La mulți ani, dragă Norman, multă sănătate și cât mai multe pagini inspirate.
La mulți ani, Nichi. E vară, e ziua ta, bucură-te de ea și eu mă bucur amintindu-mi de nenumăratele zile în care ne-am întâlnit, de nenumăratele ore pe care le-am petrecut vorbind despre literatură, despre cărțile tale, despre cărțile noastre, despre criticii literari entuziaști, despre cititorii care te-au descoperit. Îmi amintesc lansările de carte în țară, în străinătate, de publicul care aștepta să te vadă, de călătoriile pe care le-ai făcut din nou în țară, de întâlnirile reușite și nereușite, dar recuperate pe urmă. Îmi amintesc tot ce s-a adunat în acești ani care sunt în urma noastră și totuși în sufletul nostru mereu.
This is a message from Bob and Peg Boyers. Happy birthday, dearest Norman, and how ever to convey in brief how much you and your bride have meant to us over the last 30 years. You, of course, are the great storyteller, and when we think of the many days and events we've shared, we can't help thinking that you would tell them better, much better. Why should that be? Maybe because you are fundamentally a mischievous person. Not a hooligan exactly, but sly and subversive. Your imagination runs to irony and subversion. You turn each real moment into an opportunity for play, often serious play. When you say good, you intend also to suggest how near to not good is the good thing. When you praise, you dare also to suggest how rare are the things that deserve to be praised. Your love and your gift for laughter are completely genuine, and yet we love you also for the way you acquaint us with what is dark. Now Peg must tell you here what she thinks.
That you are, dear Norman, an adept of feeling. That you are, in the words of the poet Auden, a dear person who would have us remember most of all to be enthusiastic over the night. Not only for the sense of wonder it alone has to offer, but also because it needs our love. Happy birthday, dear friend. May we enjoy many, many more birthdays together. We love you.
Norman Manea este un mare autor european, american, român. E un autor global care are loc în orice istorie a literaturii universale. Mi-am dat seama de asta citindu-i cărțile atent 4 ani și scriind despre ele. Dar adevărata revelație s-a produs în 2010, când ne-am întâlnit față în față pe aeroportul din Newark. Pentru că eram un est-european ajuns în paradis, cineva trebuia să mă aștepte. Și m-a așteptat chiar obiectul cercetării mele. Țin minte că la un moment dat Norman Manea fusese întrebat cine se află în spatele dumneavoastră, domnule Manea, și aceeași întrebare i-am pus-o și eu în momentul în care ne-am întâlnit. Am dat seama treptat că nu se afla nimeni decât un mare talent, o forță enormă, o reflexivitate, o stilistică impecabilă care l-a făcut să fie scriitorul care este astăzi. Însă alături de el s-a aflat cineva foarte important, cineva cu adevărat solidar și cu adevărat un sprijin în toate sensurile și până la capăt. Era acela cu care m-am împrietenit, la fel cum mă împrietenisem cu Norman Manea din prima clipă. Au trecut de atunci 12 ani, mă bucur mult că Norman este încă în adolescență. La mulți ani, Norman!
Happy birthday, dear Norman, from a very sweltering day here in London. I still remember the first time we met in Berlin and have treasured all these years of friendship and hope that this coming year brings you much strength and inspiration and a bit of travel. And I think of you and Cela so often, and even of the snail you once adopted, I think called Bodley, maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, so many of your stories and thoughts and things you've said and written over the years continue to be very present for me. So you're always on my mind, and I send you much love, and I hope we can celebrate in person at some point this year.
Dear Norman, dear friend, dear American family, happy birthday. Every day that passes seems to get you younger and younger. Remember our joke? You are not 86, you are at most 68. It is a pleasure for me to send you these greetings. You are a wonderful person. Your novel, your fiction, your being in the world has made, as I told you more than once, this world better. And I'm happy, really happy to have had the possibility to be your Italian publisher for so many years. I hope we'll meet again very soon in New York, and I send you a big hug also to wonderful Cella.
Mon cher Norman, notre très cher Norman pour tous nous, qui a été tellement important avec tes livres, avec ta présence, avec tes réflexions, parfois belles, profondes, parfois terribles aussi, des connaissances que nous avons les Européens tous dans nos pays partagés. Et je vais te souhaiter le meilleur anniversaire très chaleureux avec notre très cher et adoré aussi Cela, avec tes amis. Et on ne t'oublie pas jamais, et tu nous as donné les cadeaux irréemplaçables de tes livres, de tes écrits, de tes essais, qui pour nous sont un cadeau, un legado irréemplaçable, très important dans nos cœurs, dans nos bibliothèques et dans toute notre vie. Et je t'embrasse à toi, à Cela, à tous.
Dear Norman, 25 years ago, I first knocked at your door at Bard, and you opened your home to a stranger with kindness and friendship. This friendship was extended 10 years later when your support again, I had the opportunity to teach at Bard to me, my wife, and my daughters. You and Cella received us as if we were old friends, and you extended this friendship for years and years. We want to thank you for that and to assure you that our gratitude and our love goes beyond the limits of the material friendship. We are sure that your role in the history of literature is undeniable, but more important than that is your role model, your humanity and kindness that goes beyond that. We wish you, on behalf of the entire pop choir in Cluj, happiness, many, many years to come with creativity and generosity.
Anti-fragility appeared as a major conceptual breakthrough of our times. It seems to have taught us that fragile structures might, in the long run, be better endowed to resist outside dissolving pressures than stable, solid, compact ones. A great revelation indeed, but is it a new one? If we attentively read the work of Norman Manea since his very debut in 1969, we will discover that this revelation actually permeates it. Norman Manea developed a form of diaphanous skepticism meant to magically survive and resist the worst forms of institutionalized brutality known to European societies in the 20th century. That's why when we celebrate Norman Manea, we actually celebrate the power of the feeble literature to resist the enormous and continuously renewed pressures of stupidity and cruelty.
Norman împlinește azi o vârstă importantă, o victorie asupra încercărilor prin care a trecut și am trecut împreună, dar și împlinirea unei vieți trăite cu intensitate. Am parcurs 55 de ani împreună, o viață în care iubirea și prietenia ne-a ținut alături. Este o bună ocazie să evoc personalitatea omului lângă care am trăit și a scriitorului care m-a însoțit în toți acești ani. Norman spune adesea că generozitatea, empatia și bunătatea sunt atribute ale inteligenței și pot să confirm nu doar că are dreptate, dar să afirm că da, inteligența sa, înțelegerea naturii umane cu profunzimile ei misterioase, sunt esența personalității lui. Ca scriitor, este deschis spre experiment și neconvențional, melancolic și jucăuș ironic, adesea sarcastic, totdeauna cu o participare discret emoțională. Dacă ar fi să aleg ce îl singularizează în literatura română, este spiritul său moral și democratic, onestitatea și eleganța delicată cu care abordează dezamăgirea, confirmate în împrejurările cele mai dificile și ostile de care a avut din nefericire parte. Norman este darul cel mai bun pe care viața mi l-a dăruit. La mulți ani, dragul meu!